Alberto, it's your boy T-Row, and what a great time to be alive and be in the automobile industry. There has never been a time before now that we have the opportunity to do what we do with Social Dominator, and what it means for you guys in the group could be a huge windfall. At the very least, you're going to sell more cars and spend less money. But to talk about where we're going to go to, let's talk about where we've come from. So traditionally, TV and radio, it's our reach and frequency medium. Right? Reach, frequency, we create familiarity. If we talk to as many people as often as we can with a good message, we've got a good chance to influence their buying behavior. However, here's the thing. It's really expensive, first of all. I'm sure in the Miami market, it's probably even more than the figures I'm about to quote. But traditionally, a TV budget, probably $10,000, $12,000. You can have a pretty dominating reach frequency. Radio, you're going to spend $30,000 to $40,000 a month. I've got to buy young. I've got to buy old. I've got to buy urban. I've got to buy country. In your market, I'm sure I have to add in at least one Latin station, right? So there's a lot of money being spent to have a dominating presence. But how do I measure it? It's really expensive. It's hard to measure. I've got production costs. I've got agencies taking fees and VIGs off the top. So what's really the return on investment for you? If only 2% of the market's ever in the market for a car, that means if there are 1,000 people in your immediate backyard, and obviously it's more than that, but let's use 1,000, that means 20 are in the market for a car. So how hard is it to quantify a positive ROI in TV and radio? It's really tough and it's really expensive. Then on the other hand, we've got a platform like Google. It's high intent, right? If I'm looking for a Honda Civic lease special, well, as long as I have the most relevant search result, the most relevant ad unit, I've got an opportunity to laser target, put that person on my website with what they're looking for. The downside is it doesn't create familiarity. When we're able to create familiarity in a brand, over time, our overall ad cost comes down, right? Because people already know, like, and trust us, so they're more likely to respond to our advertising. What if there were a way to combine all the great stuff from TV and radio, right? Reach, frequency, familiarity, with high intent behavior like we see on Google? If there were a way to combine all those things without any of the waste, we would call it Social Dominator. So what we do is we leverage Facebook and Instagram and the factory provided video assets, right? The manufacturers have spent millions of dollars on market research, on production, on creating the message. They're already putting out in the market for us. What we want to do is sort of just ride their coattails. We're going to use that video to serve it to a completely cold audience, people that aren't necessarily familiar with us, aren't necessarily familiar with the product. I'm not looking to bid against every other dealer in the market for auto intender data. Frankly, that's garbage, right? It's a supply and demand game. If a data provider or a marketing company is saying, hey, I've got this list of 100,000 auto intenders, how many other dealers do you think are paying a premium to talk to that person? Well, a lot is the answer, and it's unfair. It's unfair for dealers. So what this does is we use those factory assets. We use Facebook and Instagram video placement, and we take a cold audience. We make them warm, right? We warm them up to our message. Then we take that warm audience. We qualify the people who are most likely interested in buying a car from us by looking at their behavior and engaging back with them with the same way that they engage with us. And then ultimately, we identify the people that are in the market for a vehicle right now, and we put them on your website. It's that simple. The website is our modern showroom. So the more qualified, high-intent people that I can put on your website, the better off we are. Now, we talked about TV. Let's just use TV as an example. TV is going to reach 85% of a market, not necessarily of all your interested buyers, but 85% of the people that live in an area 4 to 5 times a month. So if I live inside of your PMA and where your TV presence is, I might see your commercial 4 to 5 times. Now, is that enough to really influence me and where I buy a car from? It could be, if we're following the 6 basic principles of effective marketing. It could be, but what's the ultimate goal? To drive me back to your website. So if there were a less expensive way to do that and to reach 100% of the people interested in buying a car, and if I could reach them 20 to 30 times a month, which are the results that I personally see, then I've got a really good shot to win your business when you're ready to buy a car. That's what Social Dominator is. That's why it's such a unique opportunity. Now, typically I charge $697 per campaign per month. So if you had one campaign, it'd be $697. If you had 10, it'd be $6,970. Why I'm giving this away is a very simple reason. I want to align myself with the right people right now so that I can hire the right clients later. I can charge other people money to do what I do. We've got a few clients right now that are on this special platform offer that has just gone out the other day. And the ultimate goal for a relationship between you and I is to show you how much value we can provide. And then maybe there's something along the way that you'll say, hey, Tim, can you help me with this? And I'll be able to charge you a little bit of money for it. I don't do paid search. I don't do production. I don't do anything that other ad agencies do, because what I learned from a decade of being on the retail side, 2 years being on the agency side, what I realized is that advertising statements are completely bloated with a lot of waste. I know exactly what to cut out and feel no difference. I know what to turn up to get a difference. I know what it takes to sell more cars and spend less money. And Social Dominator is the core to doing exactly that, especially a group of your size. This would be a huge, huge windfall for you. Regardless, I'm excited to get started with whichever store you choose. I was just playing around on the Honda site. I love everything that you guys are doing. I think you're definitely a good fit for Social Dominator. Look forward to talking tomorrow. Feel free to share this with anybody that you think wants to be or needs to be in that meeting. Write down questions, anything that you want me to talk about. But this is really it. This is it in a nutshell, and I'll talk to you later. See ya.